The Helix Nebula, also known as NGC 7293 or Caldwell 63, is a planetary nebula, PN, located in the constellation Aquarius. Discovered by Carl Ludwig Harding, most likely before 1824, this object is one of the closest of all the bright planetary nebulae to Earth. The distance measured by the Gaia mission is 655,13 light-years. It is similar in appearance to the Cat's Eye Nebula and the Ring Nebula, whose size, age, and physical characteristics are similar to the Dumbbell Nebula, varying only in its relative proximity and the appearance from the equatorial viewing angle. The Helix Nebula has sometimes been referred to as the Eye of God in pop culture, as well as the Eye of Sauron, general information. The Helix Nebula is an example of a planetary nebula formed by an intermediate to low-mass star, which sheds its outer layers near the end of its evolution. Gases from the star and the surrounding space appear, from our vantage point, as if we are looking down a helix structure. The remnant central stellar core, known as the central star, CS, of the planetary nebula, is destined to become a white dwarf star. The observed glow of the central star is so energetic that it causes the previously expelled gases to brightly fluoresce. The nebula is in the constellation of Aquarius and lies about 650 light-years away, spanning about 0.8 parsecs, 2.5 light-years. Its age is estimated to be 10,600 plus 2,300, 1,200 years, based on the ratio of its size to its measured expansion rate of 31 kilometers. S1. Structure. The Helix Nebula is thought to be shaped like a prolate spheroid with strong density concentrations toward the filled disk along the equatorial plane, whose major axis is inclined about 21 degree to 37 degree from our vantage point. The size of the inner disk is 819 arcman in diameter, 0.52 pc. The outer torus is 1222 arcman in diameter, 0.77 pc. And the outermost ring is about 25 arcman in diameter, 1.76 pc. The outermost ring appears flattened on one side due to it colliding with the ambient interstellar medium. Expansion of the whole planetary nebula structure is estimated to have occurred in the last 6,560 years and 12,100 years for the inner disk. Spectroscopically, the outer ring's expansion rate is 40 kilometers per s and about 32 kilometers per s for the inner disk. Knots. The Helix Nebula was the first planetary nebula discovered to contain cometary knots. Its main ring contains knots of nebulosity, which have now been detected in several nearby planetary nebulae. Especially those with these knots are radially symmetric from the CS and are described as cometary, each centered on a core of neutral molecular gas and containing bright local photoionization fronts or cusps towards the central star and tails away from it. All tails extend away from the planetary nebula nucleus, PNN, in a radial direction. Excluding the tails, each knot is approximately the size of the solar system, while each of the cusp knots are optically thick due to like photons from the CS. There are about 40,000 cometary knots in the Helix Nebula. The knots are probably the result of Rayleigh-Taylor instability. The low-density, high-expansion velocity ionized inner nebula is accelerating the denser, slowly expanding, largely neutral material, which had been shed earlier when the star was on the asymptotic giant branch. The excitation temperature varies across the Helix Nebula. The rotational vibrational temperature ranges from 1800 K in a cometary knot located in the inner region of the nebula are about 2.5 arcman from the CS and is calculated at about 900 K in the outer region at the distance of 5.6. Observation data: J2000 epoch right ascension, 22H29M38.55S declination, 20 UY to 50 13.6, distance 650 LY. 200 plus 1 PC, Gaia, Lie, apparent magnitude, V, plus 7, 6, distance 650 Li, 200 plus 1 PC, Gaia, Lie, apparent magnitude, V, plus 7, 6 Constellation Aquarius physical characteristics, radius 2.87 Li, 0.88 PC, Lie, notable features, one of the nearest PNI designations NGC, 7,293, Caldwell 63. Dust makes this cosmic eye look red. The eerie Spitzer Space Telescope image shows infrared radiation from the well-studied Helix Nebula, NGC 7293, a mere 700 light-years away in the constellation Aquarius. The 2 light-year diameter shroud of dust and gas around a central white dwarf has long been considered an excellent example of a planetary nebula, representing the final stages in the evolution of a sun-like star. But the Spitzer data show the nebula's central star itself is immersed in a surprisingly bright infrared glow. Models suggest the glow is produced by a dust debris disk. Even though the nebular material was ejected from the star many thousands of years ago, the close-in dust could be generated by collisions in a reservoir of objects analogous to our own solar system's Kuiper belt, or cometary Oort cloud. Formed in the distant planetary system, the comet-like bodies would have otherwise survived even the dramatic late stages of the star's evolution. This bright full moon was captured on December 2nd, shining above a church overlooking the River Po in Turin, Italy. It was the first full moon in December, shining on celebrations of New Year's Eve. Last night's full moon was the second full moon of December, and so fits the modern definition of a blue moon, the second full moon in a month. Because the lunar cycle, full moon to full moon, spans 29.5 days, blue moons tend to occur in some month about every 2.5 years. Shining in the glare just above and right of December's first full moon is the Pleiades star cluster,